Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is Chef Pamela here with you today. We will be making today a Dominican cake with pineapple filling. To start off, we're going to start making sure you have all your mise en place as you see here. First we have 2 cups of flour. It's all-purpose flour. We have a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 2/3 cups of white sugar. We have, it looks like 6 eggs, but it's actually 3 whole eggs and 3 egg yolks. We have a 1/4 cup of orange juice, 1 cup of evaporated milk, 2 sticks, which is 1 cup of butter softened. Everything should be room temperature. So my milk, my orange juice, my eggs, and my butter is all room temperature. And we also have Dominican vanilla, which is the key Dominican cakes. We will be putting 1 tablespoon. So to begin, we will be sifting our dry ingredients, everything except for the sugar. We're going to put in our flour, our baking powder, and our salt. When you sift your ingredients for cakes, it helps to make the cakes come out more fluffy. If you don't sift your ingredients, it also makes you to have lumps in your cake. I like to give it a little whisk just to make sure that everything is well incorporated, and we will put it aside. Now we will be going over to our stand mixer, and in the stand mixer we will be using the paddle attachment. We will be adding the sugar and the butter, and we will be creaming it. Usually I'll add the butter first and let the butter cream a little bit, but it will work the same because my butter is actually very soft. So we will cream it until it's light and fluffy. When the creaming is halfway, I like to scrape down the bowl just to make sure everything is being well incorporated, and we will be continue to cream it. Now that you can see it's actually light and a pale color, the butter and the sugar, we will begin adding in our wet ingredients. So I will be adding in our eggs 1 by 1 and making sure each egg is well incorporated before adding the next. Now I will scrape down the bowl to make sure everything is incorporated. As you can see right here, it's not incorporated, and on the edge of the bowl neither. So that's why you scrape down the bowl and give it another mix to make sure everything is well incorporated. We will mix it for a few seconds before adding the next ingredient. You can use white or dark vanilla. I like to use white vanilla for the fact that it's going to be a light cake. If you're gonna make something that's darker, you could, like, let's say an apple cake or a red velvet cake, and you need things like vanilla, you can add the dark vanilla. So we will be adding in 1 tablespoon of vanilla, our 1/4 cup of orange juice. This is actually freshly squeezed orange juice, not bottled orange juice. Now we'll be adding in our dry ingredients, and then we will be adding in the milk. I will add the dry ingredients in 2 parts just to make sure it incorporates well, and start it on low speed before bringing it up to medium because it actually will splatter. Scraping down the bowl. Now I'm going to give it a mix for a few more seconds just to incorporate the flour that you can see here that was not incorporated. Now we will add in the milk. Now once it's well incorporated, you turn it off. Make sure everything is well incorporated, and just do it by hand. You don't want to over mix cake. So throughout this time, I also had my oven pre-baking at 350. And I also have I have 2 pans that are, I like to line them up with parchment paper, and they are greased as well. It really helps to get the cake out afterwards at the end, because I have 2 types of molding. I have a regular mold, and I also have a spring form. But since I don't have 2 spring forms, and with the spring form it's easy to pop it out and to loosen the cake, I just like to use the parchment paper, as you can see, and grease it all the way around. Now we will split it up evenly into both. So I actually like to do this one step in where I take the cake about 1 inch above, and I like to drop it. It actually takes out any bubbles in the cake and evens it out. So to have nice and even layered cakes, I like to use these strips. They're cake strips, and it helps for your cake to come out nice and even. You have to make sure you moisten them before putting it on and baking. So as you can see, you put it nice and tight, And now we will be putting the cakes into the oven. The oven is at 350. It's already preheated, and it's also we're going to put them in for at least 20 to 25 minutes, and we'll be back with the product at the end. Hi guys, so my cake has just come out of the oven. It actually took me 30 minutes. I gave it 20 minutes first, and since my oven heats unevenly, I actually rotated them, and then I gave it another extra 10 minutes. Now they're completely done. So I like to put saran wrap over it because it helps to keep it nice and moist, and so that your cake doesn't dry out while it's cooling down. So I wrap it and I just let the cake cool down like normal. I take off the cake strips and just let the cake just cool down for a while. In this corner, I actually have homemade pineapple filling, so I will be using that for the cake today. And I have it out so it can be at room temperature because I had it in the refrigerator. So while the cakes cool down, I will be letting the pineapple get to room temperature. And like, no Dominican cake can be without the meringue frosting. I will also be doing a meringue frosting for this cake. Now we will begin frothing the egg whites. Here I have 4 egg whites, and we will be adding them to the mixer with a whip attachment until it gets nice and frothy. As you can see, our egg whites are nice and frothy now. Now we will begin adding in our syrup. We will be drizzling it in slowly, and then we will just keep on whipping it until the whole entire bowl cools down. So now we will begin frosting the cake and putting in the filling. So to put the filling, you have to make sure you put a piece of the frosting all the way around on the edge, so that way the filling doesn't come up. This is a homemade pineapple filling, which is also like a pineapple jam. Compliments of my best friend who actually made it for me. Now we just spread it out so that when you cut the cake, after everything, everyone can have a piece of the filling.